My name is Alexandra Di Gessero, and I help female entrepreneurs increase their confidence and show their authenticity on camera so that they can attract their ideal clients. And today, I want to talk to you about something very, very important. One of the biggest struggles I notice ladies have about showing up on camera and showing their face is I'm afraid of being judged. And that is completely understandable. But today, I want to talk about how to actually handle critique when it happens. Because at some point, you will probably get a negative comment, either written or spoken. When you interact with humans, sooner or later, that's something that will happen. And so, how to handle it? Because, of course, it's not pleasant when you get critiqued. And some of us, like me, I'm super emotional, and my husband always tells me I take everything super strongly to myself. Like, why do you interpret it this way? Like, it wasn't even against you. For me, it was against me. So I completely understand it can be a huge, huge struggle. And today I want to share with you how to handle critique and how to process it and how not to take it to yourself, but actually not to take it too emotionally, but actually process it and learn from it. Okay? So, whenever you receive a critique, whenever you receive a negative comment, whether written or spoken, I want you to take a deep breath. And as unpleasant as it may be, and you may feel crying or whatever, take a step back, take a moment, and ask yourself three simple questions. Okay, so number one, does it even apply to me? Because this is this is very often the point that somebody criticizes just to criticize, and they would criticize whoever, Queen of England, top model, don't know, Beyonce, whoever. Like, just you came on their way and that's why they criticize you. Maybe they have a bad day. Maybe they are simply jealous of what you are doing, that they still didn't start and you are making your dreams come true. Whatever that may be. Most of the critique and negative comments and haters and everything comes from that. Comes from people who are bored, jealous, ashamed of how they, of themselves, who are not happy with their status quo, and they put out their frustration out on other people. That may happen to you. So, the first question to ask, does it even apply to me? Because, I have negative comments, and there's one lady that always writes me negative comments whenever I teach about the importance of showing up on camera. She tells me, I've been in business for 12 years, I've built multiple businesses without ever sharing my face, showing up my face, whatever. And she may even have a point. But if for a very, like a small comment, something I just answered to another person, or a very simple neutral post, even positive, that I'm posting in a group, she answers with a letter like this every single time, I understand she has some problem, and this problem is not me. That's why I even stop answering to those comments, because she's not listening. She just has to put it out, and this is her own problem. Her critique and her negative comments do not apply to me. Okay, and I want you to start always, if you have an unpleasant situation, start with asking, does it even apply to me? Trust me, most of the cases it won't be about you at all, and you will understand. Okay, second question to ask, did I do everything that I could? Like, when they say, let's say, comment on the content you are providing, on your tips, did I do everything that I could? Did I prepare well? Did I, share everything to the best of my knowledge? If it was possible, did I check any, resources? Did I learn them from resources that are legitimate, or was it just a gossip? And if you think like this, you're like, okay, I did my best. What I'm sharing is legitimate. What I'm sharing comes from my own experience, so I'm sure of what I'm talking about. You have nothing to worry about. Even if they don't like what you're saying, you are sure that you've done everything you could. You've done everything to the best of your knowledge. You weren't tricking anybody, you weren't trying to manipulate anybody. You were trying, and you are providing value. They may not agree with it, and that's perfectly fine. My husband is a doctor, and I listen to his webinars all the time, and there are those professors, like world-class professors, that tell to each other, you have no idea what you're talking about. And literally they offend each other. So, there may be, people may not agree with you. There may be disagreements, there might be other points of view, but if you think, did I do everything that I could to the best of my knowledge, and you can be completely, calm and confident that what you are providing is of value. They may not agree with it, but that's kind of their problem. You have nothing to feel guilty about. It's just to be sure you were prepared, and that's the point. Okay, you did your homework. They may not agree with it, but that's fine. And there is the third question. I'm not completely telling you, like, don't care, ignore every negative comment, because actually we can learn from them. So the third question is, how can I improve or learn from this? And if they have different arguments, read them, check them out. You can always say, okay, I didn't know it, or maybe I will try to read more about this particular argument. Or, if they talk about some particular thing that you do, you may learn from it. For example, it's not exactly about the online business, but my other business is I have a couple of B&B apartments here in my city. And, I started getting over and over the same comment from clients that the zone is noisy. And at first I was like, okay, it's like marked, I wrote that it's close to the market, so it's noisy. But when I started getting more comments like that, I was like, okay, how can I improve? How can I improve my service? And that's why I changed the windows to those that are more isolating, that are more soundproof. And this way my clients are happier. So I'm not saying to ignore the negative comments, I'm just telling not to take them personally, but analyze them, considering those 3 questions. So the 3 questions are, does it apply to me? Did I do everything that I could? Like in the case of my B&Bs, I did write, this is the market zone. And I did mark the zone as possibly noisy. But still, people were complaining. Okay, how can I learn from it? I can change the windows, and that's it. Okay, it wasn't personal, it wasn't about me, and I've learned and I improved from this critique. So one last thing that I want you to remember from this video is, usually most critique reveals more about the person writing or saying it than about you. Really, if you notice, if somebody has an issue with something, they will directly start talking about it, even if you don't ask. And this very often comes out in the form of critique. So, for example, coming back to the example of the coming back to the example of the lady who always writes me a letter under my posts, I think her problem is that she realizes she should start showing up on camera. and who she's trying to convince that she shouldn't. She's trying to convince herself, and she's trying to give herself the reason why she shouldn't, and why she shouldn't feel guilty about not showing up. Okay, as I said, it doesn't have nothing to do with me, because it's not a reasonable conversation with her. You can directly see if it's a reasonable conversation, argument for argument, and it makes sense. Then there's something obviously to consider, and you can think how I can learn from it, how I can improve. But if I see that her arguments make no sense, and there is this huge letter every time for a minor comment, there is some disproportion, and this shows more about her than about me. Okay, so I hope you find this video useful, because it's a very, very important topic, and I don't want you to feel down anymore about any negative comment, because remember, the more we grow, the more negative comments we will get, and it's completely normal. So just learn how to handle them, and make sure to remember about my 3 questions, and let me know what you think in the comments, and I hope to see you on my next video.